How's it going, everybody? You're listening to the Moon Man Experience. I'm with Ardo, the final frontier leader, the man that created it all. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you, Moon Man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. So let's get straight into it. Let's tell the people a little bit about you and who you are.
Okay, so I am the CEO and guild commander for Final Frontier Gamers DAO LLC, and I um, I originally started this because I wanted to unite people and create change through gaming. And uh, my background is pretty deep, um, multi-sport professional athlete, um, scholar, most notably Purdue University, martial artist, and have a tech savvy background. Most importantly, father, and avid gamer. I've been a gamer for over 15 years.
Awesome, beautiful. Yeah, no, you're a man of many traits. You're really a great one, and we appreciate you all. So let's talk about why you started Final Frontier and what Final Frontier is.
So um, the guys I decided to start Final Frontier with, Tech Warrior and ULC, are um, people I know in real life. Tech Warrior being my brother, and ULC being someone that I met through Master Carlos Machado during Brazilian Jiu Jitsu years and years ago. And um, so this wasn't just created by people who didn't know each other. We're actually, real life friends and brothers.
Right,
And
right.
so one day, me and Tech Warrior out fishing, and as we're waiting to get something on the hook, I started talking about it, and he was like, you know what? Yeah, we should consider making our own organization someday.
Yeah.
And so one day I call him and I said, you know what? Let's do it. He's like, do
Yeah.
what? I said, let's start our own guild.
It's time.
It's time. And so he said, okay, let's do it. And then
Yeah.
I called ULC, and he agreed as well. And and then so the reason why I call it the final frontier is two different reasons.
Hmm.
One of the guilds I was in World of Warcraft was actually called the Broken Frontier. And but out of everything I've kind of done in life, military, martial arts, sports, scholar,
Right.
musician, I wanted something that kind of was going to be like my last plate to home for my professional career.
Right.
And so I say, you know what? This is the final frontier.
Yeah.
This is what I want to do last, but for the rest of my career.
That's beautiful.
And when I walk away from my career, it's it's just to go off in the sunset on my farm or whatever it is and
Leave a
live out my
legacy, right?
life. Right, right.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. No, we all appreciate you, and you literally, you're a man of wonders, and you've got a lot of great traits. Um, I think your aura and your uh, just your personality and just who you are, just a positivity. I think that really just resonates from you, and it's a really beautiful thing. Everybody loves you, and we all appreciate it. So let's get straight into the front token. This is something that you came up with a couple months back. It just made sense, and maybe it was before this, right? But a couple of months back is when you brought it to all of us leaders, all of us officers, and you really had a great vision attached to it. And I think that just needs to be heard by the people from you. You know, if you can maybe go into that a little bit.
Yeah. So as people starting to understand that we're kind of a hybrid organization, right? We're
Right.
an LLC, but we're a gamers guild as well. That's also a DAO.
Yep.
And so um, my idea behind the FRNT token came from a thought of survivability. And so if you look at most of the organizations that partake in gaming, whether it's Star Atlas, whether it's Axie Infinity, Illuvium, whatever it may be, their sole income is based upon that game. And so if anything were to happen, right, nothing is promised to us. And
That's
obviously, I
right.
have more than enough faith that Star Atlas is our future. Um,
Hmm.
but you still have to have a plan.
Yeah. Plan B and
And
C is always good.
exactly. So the contingency to be able to take care of my community in the event
Mm.
we did have to migrate or play a different game, whatever it is, was the FRNT token. How could I generate revenue for my community that wasn't reliant on an exterior source? And so is Star Atlas making us great income? Yes,
Right.
but it shouldn't be our sole income, right? Not the
Hmm.
eggs in one basket.
Right.
So I wanted a way to incentivize the community and take care of the community that was in support of Star Atlas, but still separate. So that if apocalyptic event happened, we still had the event, the capacity to generate revenue.
Yeah. That's beautiful. I love that. I love that idea behind the whole thing, and just that support, and just making sure that we're covered on all ends. Because again, we do believe in Star Atlas, but we're trying to be multi-game, multifunctional. We're really trying to not just be a one trick pony. So we had our seed round. Maybe you want to talk about that. But we got that upcoming IDO. But let's maybe go over the seed round real quick that we're still currently in for
Yeah,
a
so
couple days.
the seed round was amazing, and we had some major partners step in: Crypto Playboy, Kratos Ventures,
Yes.
HT Ventures. We had Macrochain step in, and several other silent partners, and other venture capital groups as well. And so, um, being that we lost an internal member, I had took a pause on the seed round so that we could, regather ourselves. It was a major blow to the team, and one that
Yes.
hit me pretty hard. And so, so what I decided to do was not only take the IDO out of December, but to put it in January and
Hmm.
run the seed until it was up to the date of the IDO and
Right.
or token supply for the seed round was drained.
That makes sense. Very smart. Very smart. Yes. And our hearts go out to their family. It's just terrible. Um, but they'll forever live on in our memories, and we'll never forget them. So let's talk a little bit about the IDO that's coming up here on January 15th, everybody. January 15th is the date. Let's talk about it.
So I'm super excited about this IDO because it is going to be a fairness launch. And so what that means is that we are running a standalone platform. It
Hmm.
is not Launchpad,
Right.
and a fairness launch is going to give everyone the opportunity to participate as long as you are there when it's going on, right? So um, there will be different phases. You'll have a phase where you can buy in,
Hmm.
and a phase where it's locked and you can only withdraw some of your USDC.
Hmm.
And then at the end, you'll have your redeem phase where you can redeem your FRNT tokens. And so when you look at different launch pads across different platforms, right? Launch pads are something that, for the most part, are new, and they're still rare to the newer blockchains.
Right.
And a lot of times, what launch pads will do is you're required to, if you want to participate to get that token,
Hmm.
you're required to purchase the launchpad's token and stake it in order to get to the token you want, or you have to participate in a lotto. And so either a mass majority don't have the funds to put into the token they want, but
Hmm.
also have the funds to stake, and or they get in, but their lotto ticket doesn't win. And so they're stuck waiting until the public sale, and we know how that can go, right? For instance, Star
Yeah.
Atlas,
Yeah.
within 90 seconds, Polis went from 13 cents to like $8 in 90
Right.
seconds.
Quick.
So, but the process has also hindered a lot of organizations because if you can't get listed on a launch pad and you don't have some sort of fairness platform like we're having,
Right.
then you're stuck using all of your seed money, which is your
Yeah.
startup money, to get listed on exchanges, both SEX and DEX, right? Decentralized exchanges and the decentralized.
Correct.
But then you have no money to operate because you didn't have an IDO,
Right.
right? Or an ICO, as some may call them. Now, ours does not stand for uh,
Coin offering.
initial coin offering or initial DEX offering. Ours
Okay.
stands for initial distribution offering.
Hmm. I like that.
And the seed round had um, allocation of 133 million tokens,
Mm-hmm.
and the IDO will have 96 million. Now, here's the beauty: the seed investors only have access to 20% of their tokens, and the other 80% are locked for 1 year with a subsequent 1 year vesting schedule.
So smart.
And and so um, and I get asked this question a lot. So out of the billion total supply, they only have access to 26 million tokens out of the total 133 million that get purchased. So they can only affect a 2.6 margin out of the total circulation,
Right.
or out of the total supply. Now, um, my team, what I
Mm-hmm.
decided to do with my team was I wanted something that made the community feel more content,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
comforted. So
Right.
I took the team's allocation and I locked that for 2 years with a subsequent 2 year vesting schedule. So our team will not have full access to every last token until 2025.
That's so smart. Because that incentivizes us, the officers and leaders, to work that much more harder, and it just shows the people that this is not a rug pull. There's nothing nefarious going on here. We're not trying to scam anybody. You don't do these things without the intentions of good and to bet the betterment of the community. So maybe that's when we can kind of segue right into what does the value of front mean to somebody that wants to invest when that IDO comes around, or when that public sale comes around. What makes a person say, "Hey, I want to invest in the team," if they haven't already seen that on Twitter and all the waves that we're making? What would you tell the community?
So we have a very interactive token. First and foremost, we are a community,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's a
Yep.
community token that just also happens to be a governance token in which we are incorporating the DAO side of the governance stuff in our roadmap. For the community side of the FRNT, we're going to have contests and competitions and several different incentives that give the FRNT token value, such as
Right.
gaming tournaments where members of the community can earn FRNT by placing in those tournaments. And also, with us doing create change with the FRNT token.
Mm-hmm.
And then also through our NFT projects, where holders of our NFTs can possibly receive an airdrop of some FRNT. And
Yes.
so, um, and then there's the governance side where it can be used for voting and things of that nature.
Right.
And being hybrid, again, it helps us not be one dimensional, but um, we will not have an inflationary supply. We will not be adding tokens to that billion supply,
Mm-hmm.
and we will not be burning tokens for no reason. I see so many projects every month. They're like, "Hey, we're burning," but for what? Right?
Right.
What You should not be burning tokens unless you have a legitimate reason to burn tokens. And so, Um,
And that just has that ruggy effect to it. You know what I mean? When you're burning
exactly.
tokens, you're literally trying to, let's say you put out 10 tokens, five people buy, you burn four of them. You're literally only trying to do that because you want that five that's been bought to be more valuable. It's a silly
That's
play. Yeah.
exactly.
Yep.
So we have no desire to mess with the flow of our economical system. And then also there's the scholarships. So people have opportunities to earn scholarships. And it doesn't always have to be in FRNT. It could be in USDC.
Mm-hmm.
It could be through being lent one of our ships and being able to receive some of the earnings. Um, and then obviously in the future, there's plans to incorporate the FRNT into different metaverses where it can be a localized currency in that particular metaverse community where they can then use it for commerce.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, when it comes to the Star Atlas metaverse, that's one thing we'd like to see. We'd like to see characters from outside of the game be incorporated into the game. And you just brought up a great point. Literally, tokens come in and actually be used as a form of currency. That's beautiful. Do you maybe want to break down the economics? I know we kind of touched on it a little more. If you have anything more to say there, and maybe just the final wrap up of the future of the front token and what it really means for the final frontier.
Yeah. So one of the biggest things with what we're doing, at least in terms of what FRNT can do for us out of the IDO,
Hmm.
is for one be able to support the game we support primarily, and form a way for us to generate more earnings that then allows us to put more dollar for dollar value behind the FRNT for lending protocols, for scholarships, for
Yep.
more giveaways and contests and competitions,
Yes.
uh, but also for us to be able to arbitrage in a bear market
Hmm.
so that we can generate more earnings, so that we can do more, we can develop better, we can innovate better, and better put the FRNT token to use. Now, what I want to see is the community provide utility. And I know a lot of people get crisscrossed about this. If you
All
look
right.
at the great projects in the crypto space, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance, Solana, is it the team providing all of those utilities or is it the community,
Hmm.
right? The
Yeah.
Bitcoin, there's no Ethereum team going out and providing it on PayPal, right?
Right.
These are utilities of organizations getting into the space and providing a way for the community to interact. So Visa, PayPal, UFC, the NFL, the NBA, all of
Yeah.
these different things are coming because the community brought the utility, right?
Right.
Just like with Bitcoin ATMs, this is the community. So that's what I challenge the final frontier, the Star Atlas, the metaverse community to do is provide the FRNT token with some utility.
Right. That's beautifully said. You couldn't have put it any better. Let's work together and just create change. And right here at the end, let's talk about that create change movement. You decided, and we talked amongst the leaders for about 5 hours. You brought up the idea. You put in so much hard work. I don't think people really realize how much work you put in on the back end, and how many emails you send out, and just how much you do, right? And you raised so much money in this seed round. It's absolutely astonishing. But you said, a lot of people raise money, but what do it's one thing to show off how much you've bought in a game, or it's one thing to raise a bunch of money, but it's also one step further is something bigger, and that's giving back, creating change, create change, hashtag. So you decided to actually give back to the community in a very large way. Let's talk about that giveaway that we did about a month ago.
Yeah. So when you look at the problems we have in first world,
Right.
until you can truly understand the problems in a developing nation, right, or second world, um, it doesn't resonate. And some of us that have been able to travel the world, whether through sports, military, humanitarian efforts,
Hmm.
things of that nature, it really hits you when you see um, that, you know, kids will steal and kill to eat. That the women who grow up from birth without certain rights, and it's like when they leave the home, they have no rights. They can't congregate amongst men. They can't do certain, sports. They can't um, partake in certain hobbies. They're not allowed to dream. They're not allowed to be educated. They're not allowed to be opinionated. They're not allowed to
Right.
talk about freedoms or financial freedoms.
And
And so,
there's no wiggle room in that. You know, it's not like
exactly,
here where there's a little bit of wiggle room. Your parents might be mad at you, or your work might be. It's none of that. It's literally life or death. You do not have these rights. Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And so it's something I take seriously when
Hmm.
there's members in this community who literally are putting their lives on the line to support us. Because
Right,
the talk of financial freedom, the talk of decentralization, the talk of civil rights and things of that nature, where they come from, the punishment is a stoning or sentence to death. It's something bad, right?
right, right.
And so now we get into the economical side of things, where the 50 or 100 or $200 you put in your gas tank a week here in America, that's enough money in some of these countries to feed a family for a couple months. And so I see my problems as small compared to what these people have to go through. And as they're joining the community, it was on my heart that we have to give back. And so we're going to do it in a final frontier way.
Right.
Michael Wagner and the Star Atlas team opened a door that we will forever be grateful for, because I was able to purchase Star Atlas ships, the NFTs, and do this massive giveaway in which for a couple of them, it's more money than they've seen in their whole life.
Yeah,
And that
yeah.
puts things into perspective, right?
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I literally just got back from the store, bought 4 cases of water, I think for like $10. It's nuts because there's people in the world that do not have access to water, do not have access to water, and for $10, that's like you said, that can literally feed a family for a month. $10 could probably feed a family for 2 weeks. It's insane, and it's we have access to this like it's nothing. So I,
Exactly.
I I think putting that all into perspective, and realizing that, and noticing how good we have it, giving back is literally the most we can do and the best thing that we can do. So that's amazing. I love the head that you have on your shoulders. This is phenomenal for the community, and I think Final Frontier and you and all of us are really going to do some really amazing things in the world. One more thing, let's touch on women's empowerment. I know that's really been a big thing of yours, and that's a huge thing in this world. And we need to find a way to make these women equal, and put them on the platform that they deserve for the simple fact that they create life. Period. So maybe you want to touch on that.
Yes. So having people, having women close to me, women that are just associates or some that I grew up with, and watching
Right.
some of the atrocities that they've had to face, watching the media and some of the atrocities that women have had to face. I mean, look at what happened in Afghanistan and the women's soccer team on the run for the fear of what was going to happen. Um, the the women who are oppressed in nations where they're not allowed to dream, they're not allowed to speak up amongst men, and they're not allowed to talk about, having their own finances, or having ideas. um,
Mm-hmm.
Watching what happened in the women's professional soccer league with
Yeah.
these women being sexually harassed. Look at the Me Too movement. So I think of, my mom, and
Right. Right.
how would I want my mom to be treated, right? So
Yeah.
um, so Final Frontier has announced to the community that here in the Final Frontier, you have a safe place. You can speak your mind, right? As long as we're respectful.
Yes.
You have a place to share your opinions. You have a place that you're going to be treated with respect and kindness. You have a place where um, you're not going to face oppression. You're going to have equal opportunities to move up amongst the ranks, to be in any of the different professions that we um, consider in the Final Frontier, and also to be able to work on any of the teams we have.
Yes.
And so at the end of January, we are having Women's Week, in which every day that week, from Sunday to Sunday, we will have a different event going on, and each day will be special. Also, during that week, we're releasing a women's empowerment digital magazine.
Hmm.
It is not for sale. We are just putting it out there for display. We are not generating any money off of the ladies. Now, that last day, which will also be a Sunday,
Right.
we are doing a live Twitter Spaces, and it will be titled Ladies Night, in which we are going to not only shock the metaverse, but the entire crypto space with what we're doing that day. But we're going to let the news out the first day of Women's Week.
Yeah, I'm really excited. This is amazing. Women deserve the platform. You know, like I said, they create life, and my God, is there some great women in the world, and you know. I love my mom, man. That's my best friend, especially especially having a single mom growing up. So, or a single parent, I should say. Yeah. So yeah, man. I think this is going to be amazing. Look, Ardo, I really appreciate everything that you do. You gave me the opportunity to become my best self, you know, in the metaverse, and really put all my things together and try to give back to the community. You yourself, you give back to the community so much, and you really are somebody that we all strive to want to be like. Everybody, please go support him. But Ardo, tell the people how they can get into touch with you, how they can find you, you know, and just all of your socials if they don't already know.
Well, if you DM us on Twitter on Final Frontier SA, or you
Hmm.
can come into our Discord, which is discord.io/ Final Frontier SA. And if you let anyone know you're looking for Ardo, they will definitely point you in my direction.
Hmm.
And on Instagram, it's Ricky Pinkney Official, and on Twitter, it's Tricky Ricky P. So um, and again, the beauty of the Final Frontier CEO is
Yeah.
I am extremely doxxed.
Exactly. Yep, yep. And everybody, please go check out finalfrontiersa.com. If you guys don't know Ardo, you know, aka Ricky, the real life name, right? He literally coded that whole website from experience and a couple years back. It's been a while. You said it's you know, doing a website like that, and that thing looks phenomenal. You know, Star Atlas has an amazing website. The Final Frontier has, you know, maybe a better one. But it's amazing, man. You really are doing some great work out there. Everybody, please go support him, go follow him, and just give him his flowers. Any last words, Ardo?
Well, first and foremost, uh, make sure to follow the Moon Man on all his
Thank you, thank
socials.
you.
Make sure to hit the follow button on the Final Frontier socials and the Star Atlas socials. And also, um,
Ding that little
please
bell.
join,
Get notified.
get notified. Please join our community. And we would love to have talks with any of you about partnerships, about innovation, development, joining as members. We are open for recruitment for all positions. We also are recruiting blockchain developers and artists. So um, just make sure that as you come into the Final Frontier community, that you support, create change, and that you are respectful, or Ardo will come for you.
Right there, you guys heard it first. So thank you so much, Ardo, and thank you everybody that took the time out of their day to listen to this episode of the Moonman Experience. Please be sure to make sure that you're on the lookout for the IDO here on January 15th. Thank you, Ardo, and everybody. Just be better, create change. Thank you.
Thank you.